Hi everyone, this week's tutorial is a super cute goodie bag slash gift bag that's actually a purse. I hope that you'll give it a try, and please make sure if you're in my VIP group that you upload your pictures. I'd love to see them. And I've also included an extra special little project that goes on the inside of the purse that I will be making a video tutorial of later this week, and I hope you'll give that a shot also. Thanks! Okay, so today we're going to be making this super cute little purse, which can be used as a goodie bag holder, a gift bag. It does have a Velcro closure, and on the inside it has a little wallet that has two pockets, and then I added a little note card. This actually has magnetic closure, and the tutorial for the wallet will be up later this week, but today we're going to be making this little purse. This first bag that I created was made out of one sheet of designer cardstock, and the second one was made out of one sheet of solid colored cardstock, and then I added the pattern paper on the top. I really like the way the layered look looks. So I decided to try that out, and I think it came out really cute. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with this bag right here. So what you'll need is you'll need to take your 12 by 12 patterned paper, and you will need your scoring board. And what you'll need to decide is how you want your purse to come out. So in this one, you'll see that my stripes go up and down and then sideways. So basically, this right here is the side of your purses, and this is the front of your purse. So if you want your stripes, if you have a striped pattern or any kind of pattern, if you want it to go this way, then you'll need the paper to lay this way. If you wanted your stripes to go the other way, then you'll have needed to lay your paper this way. So if you'll see here, I have my arrows going that way. I know that's kind of an odd little piece of paper. I hope you can see it. If I layer them this way, then my arrows are going to go the opposite way on the front. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. So you're going to take your 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and you're going to start by scoring on the 1/2 inch mark. Then you're going to score at 4.5 inches. Then you're going to score at 7.5 inches. And then finally you're going to score at 11.5 inches. So those score marks again were 1/2 inch, 4.5 inches, 7.5 inches, and 11.5 inches. Then you're going to rotate your paper once, and you're going to score at 3 3/4. And then you're going to score at 8 1/4. So that was 3 3/4 and 8 1/4. Okay, so now you're done with your scoring board. The next thing you're going to do is I want you to lay your piece of paper in front of you, so you have the 1/2 inch strip down here at the bottom, and then the 1/2 inch strip up here at the top. And if you'll see, you have two lines right here, and you have two lines coming this way that you've just scored. I want you to go ahead and fold on your score lines, not on the 1/2 inch score lines, on the larger score lines, and make sure you use your bone folder to make your folds nice and crisp. So just go around and fold your papers, or your paper, on all the score lines. But again, don't fold on the 1/2 inch score lines, just fold on the inside ones. Okay, so once you've done that, go ahead and rotate your paper back to where you have a 1/2 inch at the top and a 1/2 inch on the bottom. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to make some cuts. You're going to cut right here, right here, right here, and right here. These are right on the score lines, and you're going to cut up into this score line. Don't cut past this score line right here. So if you are not sure, these are the last two score marks that we made, the 3 3/4 and the 8 1/4. You're going to cut right up here to this little line. So go ahead and do that. And remember, your 1/2 inch score line is down here and your 1/2 inch is up here. So make sure you're cutting on the right side. And this is going to create your 4 flaps so that we can start to form the base of the purse. Okay, so now what you have is you're going to have 4 flaps. Okay? So now you decide, this is the side that I want to show for the outside side of my purse. So I'm just going to flip my paper over and I'm going to fold these flaps in. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a sort of little box with my flaps. These come in, these come in, and then these little flaps are going to fold in like this. So this is your little box. This is going to form the base of your purse. It doesn't matter which flaps you put first or which flaps go on the inside. All that matters is you're going to start to form your little box. So now what I want you to do is I want you to put adhesive on your flaps and glue everything together so that you end up with a little box like this. Okay? So I'm going to do that right now also. And don't worry about that 1/2 inch flap that you have on these ones. It's completely fine that you have them. You don't have to fold it or anything. Make sure you line up your flaps when you glue them together. And I like to do these inside parts first, but it's completely up to you if you just want to go ahead and do the last flap before you do the entire inside. Okay, and so now I'm just going to fold these flaps up and I'm going to glue them up. Now when you're adding the adhesive here, don't add your adhesive to your 1/2 inch strip, okay? What I did there is I just used my bone folder to make sure to smooth out the glue, and so that it would stay nice and it would adhere nicely. And so I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this other flap. And again, make sure that you don't put glue on this 1/2 inch mark right here. You don't want to add glue there just yet. So then you're going to fold that last one up. Okay, so this is what your purse structure looks like now, and this is actually the base of your purse. And so right now it's just a square, but you're going to start to shape it like this. You're just going to bend it ever so slightly, and it starts to create the base of your purse right there. Okay, so now these little 1/2 inch strips you have here, you can go ahead and fold these over, and this kind of creates a finished look on the inside. Just fold them over, and now I want you to go ahead and glue them down. And do that to both sides. Okay, so your base of your purse is, your structure is pretty much finished at this point. Now you can go ahead and kind of shape your purse again at the bottom. and you'll start to see your purse shape forming. The next thing that we're going to do, and this part is completely optional, is adding trim at the bottom of your bag. So you can see on this one that I added trim and went all the way around, and then I added a little bit of trim right here. And on this bag I did not add any trim because I like the look of the layering and it kind of looks like it has trim already. So I didn't add any trim on this one. So this step is completely optional and up to you. But if you want to add trim, you're going to take your 11" by 1/2 inch strips, 2 of them, and you're going to add strong tape to the back. So whether it's the red tape or the or score tape, whatever you want to use, but make sure you use something strong. You can use wet adhesive, but I find it just takes a lot of time to wait for it to dry, but you can definitely use wet adhesive as well. I haven't used my ATG for this step right here, so I'm not sure how well it stays on, but you can definitely try to use your ATG as well. So then you would just burnish this part down, and now you'll just start to peel off the backing of just one of them, but don't peel it off all the way, just peel it off just a tiny little bit, and you're going to start by adding this to your purse. And you can start anywhere you want on your purse, and I'm just going to add mine, oops, right to the bottom. And as I add it, I'm peeling away my score tape on the back. And I'm just going to go around my little bag. Uh-oh, there we go. Somehow I went a little crooked, but that's completely fine. Somehow I got a little crooked, but that works. Okay, so then you're going to take your second strip and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to just match it up to where you left off. And you're going to want to overlap just a tiny bit where you started. And you can definitely overlap right here if you want to also. I don't really find that it's necessary, but if you want to overlap right there, you definitely can also. And because this part of your bag is going to stay pretty much square, this base part, you don't have to worry about this part needing to bend at all. So then you're just going to chop that little piece off and then just overlap that right there. And there is your trim at the bottom. Now you can go ahead and add trim right here on the sides, and this piece should be perfectly sized to get you just a tiny bit more trim. So we're gonna add some trim here. And then add this little last piece on this side right here. Oh, and I actually have a tiny bit left over. Just gonna cut this right there. Okay. And there I have my trim on both sides. See? Okay, so the next thing that you're gonna do is you're going to add your closure flap. This is your 3x5 piece, and it's 5 going this way. Just wanted to make sure. And you're going to adhere this piece to the back with strong tape. So again, either your red tape or your score tape. And then the front, you're going to add some Velcro, or you could add a magnet closure if you want. But this is the part that's going to open and close. Okay, I'm going to round my front corners because I like the look of that. I do not have a corner chomper, but if you have an envelope punch board, on the back of your envelope punch board, it has a corner rounder, so I'm going to use that. And then I'm just going to add some sticky tape to the back. And this part is completely up to you as far as how much tape you want to add, how far down you want to go on the 5-inch side, if you want to do 1 inch, if you want to do 2 inches, completely up to you. But make sure that you add some really strong tape, whether it's score tape or the red tape, and then burnish it down. And then you're going to take your backing off. Just like that. And then you're going to center it on the back of your little purse. And just do the best you can. You can definitely measure if you'd like to. I don't really measure. Oh, make sure you know where your tape ends so that way you can get all your tape on there. Okay. Okay, so now the back is on, and so now you would just add your Velcro closure. So I went ahead and I got my little Velcro dots out, and I'm just going to add it right here in the center, and then I'm going to decide how far I want it to stick down. Do it right here. And I find whenever I add Velcro that initially it's a little bit hard to take the paper off, but once you've used it a couple of times, be careful when you first open it up because you don't want the bottom, this one, to pull off and tear your paper. That has happened to me before. So just make sure you stick it down really good. And the more you open and close your little bag, the easier it'll become to take the Velcro off. Okay, so there's your base of your bag. Now you could just stop here and make it like a little tiny clutch. That would be cute too. But we're gonna add the handles just so that you know how to add the handles as well. So these are the other 2 strips of 11 by 1/2 inch pieces of cardstock that you cut, and you can actually use your bone folder to curl these just a little bit. Go ahead and do that to both of them. Oops, I want to make sure I curl the right side. My cardstock, there's a pattern on both sides, so I wanted to make sure that I used the same side. So what you're going to do is you're going to add your handles like this. So this is it straight, and I just curved it in this way. And so I'm going to add them right here on either side of my flap closure. And this is why I wanted to add my flap closure first, because I wanted to make sure I knew how much space I had left when I added my handles. So to add your handles, again, you're going to want to use a really strong tape. So score tape or the red sticky tape. Those are both really good adhesives. You again could use wet adhesive if you wanted to, but that process for drying might be a little too long, and sometimes it's a little messy. It is for me. So once you've added your score tape or your red tape or whatever adhesive you're using, then you can go ahead and add your handles. Okay, you're just going to go ahead, and you really are just deciding where you want them to go. I like to kind of look to see where this this little trim I added is, and then kind of gauge the pattern of where I should add it. But it's completely up to you. When I don't add trim on the purses, I still just kind of look at what looks the most even, where does it look the best, how long do I want my handles to be. But it's completely up to you, however you want to add it. If you wanted to make your handles shorter, you could definitely use less cardstock and make a little tiny handle like that. It's really kind of however you want to set your bag up and however you want to embellish it. Now I'm just going to add the back handle. Sometimes the front one gets a little bit in the way when I'm doing the back one. Okay, so that's it. That is the basic structure for your purse, and now you can add any embellishment you wanted to. The next thing I want to show you is how you can make this bag, where you use the solid color cardstock and then you layer with designer paper. So you're going to take your solid colored cardstock, you're going to do exactly the same steps that we did when we did the other 12 by 12 purse structure. It's going to be completely the same. You're still going to make your cuts for your 4 flaps. The only thing you're going to do differently is now you're also going to cut some designer paper for your flaps. And your designer paper cuts are going to go, before I glue my box together, I'm going to show you where they go. You're going to have one that goes right here in the front, one that goes right here in the back, and then you'll have 2 that go on the sides like this. So my recommendation will be, before you glue your box, if you're doing the colored cardstock and layering with designer paper, my recommendation is for you to make sure that you add your designer paper before you make your box shape. So now I have finished adding all of my designer paper, and next you'll just add adhesive and create your little box just like we did last time. Glue all of the pieces together, then you'll fold down and glue the 1/2-inch pieces. You'll shape your box just a tiny bit into a purse, then you'll add your adhesive for your flap closure, and then the last thing you'll do is you'll add your purse handles, exactly the same like we did the other box, and then add any embellishment that you want to add, and that's the project. Thanks!